Hello fellow simmers, it's Samuel Beeman of BLS here, and today we're on something very nostalgic to me, and that is Microsoft Train Simulator, or aka OpenRails. So what is OpenRails? Well, OpenRails is basically a modern era version of Microsoft Train Simulator. All Microsoft Train Simulator add-ons and content work with OpenRails, hence on the screen here we're actually in an M7 locomotive on the Swanage railway route add-on for MSTS by Ubisoft. I believe it's Ubisoft or Aerosoft, either one. Can't remember the name of the company who built this route, but hey ho. I remember it being sold at the Swanage railway, and my parents actually bought this for me as a kid, and I just absolutely loved it. So it's just great to have some nostalgia here. So currently we are at Norden with the M7 30053, which is one of the locomotives that come with the base route, along with some Mark 1 coaches and the AI 80078 4MT tank, which is a former resident of the Swanage railway. So this is the Santa Special activity of 2003. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get our HUD up and get everything all sorted out, ready for our run today. So we've got to be at Corfe Castle at 11:12, which is literally in like a minute's time, which is, Jesus Christ, we have to get a move on. We're going to release our brake, put ourselves into forward gear and get ourselves underway. Here we are, departing Norden. I mean, this game is just an absolute classic. It really is. It really is. So, as you are all probably aware right now, it is literally Christmas Eve. So I want to wish you all a fabulous Christmas. I hope you have a great time this year at Christmas. And it's a Merry Christmas from me and the rest of the BLS team. And we hope you enjoy this video. So it's a 10-mile-an-hour limit here. But I mean, for its time, this game was just amazing. Like, this was the go-to game for any rail enthusiast. And it was basically the first ever train simulator ever to be created on PC. And, you know, it's something special. It will always remain as something special for everybody, really. It came with so many add-ons as well. You could buy so much stuff for it. A lot of the preserved railways around the UK would sell add-ons of their routes for people to buy. And yeah, it was such a great game for its time, it really was. And it's fabulous to play it again. So, the cab interiors, like most in MSTS, were all photo textured. There was no 3D cabs. Not at this point, anyway. We're currently approaching Corfe Castle. So you will notice that we're actually going into platform 1 here at Corfe Castle. This is due to the fact that in the time period that this route is based on, the footbridge wasn't yet completed at Corfe Castle Station, so the actual second platform here, platform 2, wasn't used. You'll also notice that this was actually before the signal box was even a thing on the platform as well. So this is based on a very sort of early 2000s era of Swanage, which does bring back memories, I must say, because I do remember it looking like this. And I remember being on the platform at Corfe before the footbridge was even a thing. And a 33 would be sat in the platform, obviously opposite platform 1, which was, I believe, was 33034, which is now sadly scrapped. So we are at the station, passengers are boarding. So we are running late at the moment, but then the timetable on this is pretty, yeah. I think one thing I would say about this is that they could have, like, you know, gave you a little bit more time to actually get to stations. It's something I will say about this. So I do have my automatic fireman on because, you know, it's realistic. You wouldn't have the driver sort of driving and firing at the same time unless it's a miniature loco. Passenger boarding complete. Right away for Harmon's Cross. Harmon's Cross is our next station stop. Oh, it's such a classic, this game. And for its time, you know, the sounds are actually not that bad. Some of the sounds in this game are actually better than some of the train sim classic sounds that you get nowadays. I am overspeeding ever so slightly here. Let's have a look at the passenger view, shall we? Oh yes, I remember this. Oh, this was an excellent passenger view for its time. I mean, look at this. You've got the Walkers, cheese and onion crisps, the Swanage Railway leaflet and the old camera, DSLR. It's brilliant. I don't know why the limit is 10, it should be 25 here. It's a bit of a bug. It should actually be 25 here, but it's saying a limit of 10. Strange. Still, at least we can make up time. Oh, we've got the 4MT powering on the back as a banker. That's another thing I did admire about MSTS for its time as well, is a lot of the new modern games like Trains and TS Classic, you would get smoke clipping through the bridges. Now, MSTS didn't have that. I mean, some of the bridges did that, but a majority of them didn't. They actually had them as solid objects. So the particles of the steam loco would actually go under the bridge. And I mean, anyone who's watching this, you've got to agree that for its time, this isn't actually that bad. Like, detail-wise for the route and stuff, it does look like the Swanage Railway. I remember driving this all the time as a kid. Get a bit of a window hanging camera going, shall we? There we are. Look at that. So we're now passing Woody Hyde. Oh, it's the old cow sounds. They were brilliant at the time. brake slightly, we are. So yeah, so it's obviously not perfect because it says the limit is 10 mile an hour, which is some sort of bug. Because it should be 25 along here. So if anyone wants to try out OpenRails or, you know, wants a little bit of nostalgia, I will link the game in the description of the video. It is a completely free game. You can actually play it for free, and it does have like a demo mode where you can drive a Scottish route of the class 27 and 47. It's definitely worth a look at if you want a bit of nostalgia. And one of the really cool features about this game as well is it actually has an inbuilt multiplayer. So you can actually play it with your friends through their IP addresses, which is absolutely fantastic. As you see, we are now approaching Harmon's Cross, and we have what looks like a diesel multiple unit in the station. It's a class 108. We'll head over to the other side of the coach to have a look as we come into the station. There it is. There it is. Class 108, which is now at the Llangollen. Sold to the Llangollen a few years ago. Perhaps a bit short, but it will do. Oh yeah. Could use with moving up slightly actually. Should have looked at the back of my train when we come into here. Hopefully that unit doesn't depart and crash into our train, because that would be embarrassing. So we have got an F8 camera where we can actually move around and have a look around the station, which is very cool. You can see here that, again, this was before the actual building on the second platform at Harmon's Cross was constructed. So the waiting room is literally just a little small cabin, as it were. But I mean, the detail of it is actually all here. It does look very smart. Look, we've got all of the building and everything all there and correct. Got all like posters and stuff on there. Just kind of, you know, adds to the detail really. I think it's brilliant. Harmon's Cross. We've got the entrance. You can go in and out.
Right away, driver.
You got the right way from the guard, but yeah, it does look like the Swanage Railway, and it feels like the Swanage Railway as well, and it's lovely. Right, so off we go. We'll depart Harmon's Cross now for Swanage. Very cool. Got here. Oh look, the unit's departed. There goes the 108. Something as well I do admire about this OpenRails version of MSTS is they've actually put shadows on it. So you've actually got the shadow effects now, which is really cool. It's something that you didn't have in MSTS days. So it's basically a remastered, revamped MSTS. That is what this game is. And it works with pretty much all MSTS add-ons that you own. The brakes are very effective on this thing, I must admit. Oh, I remember spending many hours on this thing when I was a kid. It's just funny to play it now. Bit of a retro action. I'm having to feather the brake quite a lot down here, I must admit. It's a very steep gradient. So in the means of gradient profiles, I'm not sure whether this route is 100% accurate, because remember this was built in the early 2000s, so this might not be as, you know, accurate as it could be to like nowadays standards. But if I'm going to be brutally honest with you, I think the representation of Swanage Railway in MSTS was absolutely fantastic, and they did such a good job. And even to this day, you know, it's not really that bad. There is worse representations of routes out there in MSTS. I can name one of them, the Kent-Sussex Railway. That was not the best MSTS route, like preserve line on the market. I do actually own that one, but I don't think I have it installed. So whether I can get that installed for OpenRails, I do not know, because once again, you know, it depends on whether it is compatible with OpenRails, because I know that some MSTS add-ons do not work with this. But a majority of them do. There's one thing you would notice as well about this game as well is it's the looping of the sound effects. So back in the day when you used to listen to like the sound effects of birds and cows and cockerels and things, you sit there and you think, oh yes, amazing sound effects, oh it's like the best thing ever. But obviously you listen to it nowadays and you think, yeah, okay, that's just the same sound effect looping over and over and over. Obviously for its time it was like the best thing ever. This whole route here, when this was released in the early 2000s, this was mind-blowing. Obviously you look at it now and you think, well, it's good-ish for its time, but it's not brilliant. But you think back then we was like, this is the best thing ever. As I say, I wouldn't really call this video a review as such, because I mean, I would say it would be unfair to say that, you know, it's not to nowadays standards, but obviously if I'm to review it in the sense of for its time, this was very, very good, and the detail of it was brilliant for the time. If I was to rate this route, being back in the days of MSTS, I would have probably giving it an 8, 9 out of 10-ish, because it is a lovely, well-represented version of the Swanage Railway for MSTS, but it does have its flaws, and it does have its bugs. And probably one of the main issues being that 10 mile an hour speed restriction up Corfe Common, which is just unrealistic. If I had have noticed that when I was a kid, or I mean, you don't really tend to notice as much when you was a kid. But if I was to notice that when I was like fully grown, like I am now, that would really irritate me, and that's something that would knock it down in the ratings, I would say. So we are now approaching Swanage, so I do need to start slowing up. So I believe it's a 15 mile an hour limit into Swanage Station. 15 to 10. I'm going to play it safe by going 10. And we have some more locomotives coming up on the side here. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button there. So we got 34072, 257 Squadron, which, to be fair, the Bullied Pacific model isn't that bad. But it's, as I say, you know, it's all very, very good for its time. I mean, these days you're obviously thinking it's not as impressive, but... And we've got Portline here as well, which is the Merchant Navy, which used to be based at Swanage. As well as Eddystone, 34028. There she is in all her glory. So yeah, so it is 10 mile an hour. Well, it says the limit is 25. Well, it's gone back to 10 now. So the speed limits on this route are a bit hit and miss, I have noticed. But here we are, coming into Swanage, which back in the day, I remember opening this up as a kid and just being so excited seeing Swanage in a game for the very first time. Like, oh my god, it's Swanage. I remember showing it to mum and dad and they were like, oh yeah, that's amazing, we can see it looks just like it. But you look at it now and you think, yeah, it's very nice, it was good for its time, you know. I mean, to be fair, I have got this set to winter, obviously, because it's, you know, Christmas time, and to be fair, I think the route looked better in the sort of the summer and sort of autumn times. Probably the best time to really play this route season-wise. But here you can hear the iconic sound of the seagulls, which I believe this sound file got ported over to TS Classic. Second Valve actually ported this sound effect for his second valve Swanage Railway version for TS Classic, which was a nice touch. Something I would really like to know and find out how to do is ambient audio sounds for TS Classic. So if anyone knows about how to make ambient audio for TS Classic, please do let me know, because that's something that I would actually love to look into and do a pack for. Yeah, as you can see, we've got Swanage here, which has Swanage Railway, the Purbeck line, written on the side of the building, which is now no longer there, sadly. I don't know why they got rid of it, because it's actually really quite a nice sign. So there we are, look, here it is, look, just look at it. You know, for its time, this was the best thing ever. Look, you've got bookstall signs, got all the posters, Swanage Railway Project, Way Out, train tickets, ladies' room, gentlemen. We've got people on the platform and everything. It really is. For its time, it was brilliant. Look, we've even got the co-op over there, look. Co-op Swanage. I mean, you know, they're all photo textured assets. The assets aren't very good, but for the time, these were like the best things ever. This is all we had. Look, flying over to Swanage Town. Look at the town. Like, the detail on this is actually pretty damn good. And you never used to be able to fly out here, actually. You never used to be able to fly out here in MSTS. Like, you could never go this far. But look, we have got sort of the beach here, but I mean it's not, obviously, you know, you wouldn't detail up this area very much because it's away from the train and you couldn't go up this way in MSTS. But yeah, it is really quite cool. I mean, this view here isn't quite 100% accurate because I believe that the actual high street itself, it should be a little bit further over because the view of the station should be, so the actual street itself should be around here, and you could see sort of that angle. Yeah, I keep pressing the wrong buttons. That's one thing I will say about OpenRails is the button are like how they've done all the view cameras and stuff is a bit awkward. Like there's lots of weird angles and stuff, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool for like filming and stuff, but it can be a bit of a pain in the backside. There's a co-op there. Has it got the caravan park on top of the hill? No, but then you wouldn't go into that much detail, I suppose. Got all the old buses, look, the Dorset buses, I remember these. They're now the Breeze buses, but back in the day they used to have the red buses and red open top buses. I remember them very well. We've got the Swanage signal box there, in all its glory, making all the sound effects. You know, it's got all the sound effects, you know, it's got all this lovely little details here, like we've got all the workmen here over at the coaling stage. Very cool. Got the goods shed and the turntable and wagon there. Sleeper car. Eddystone. Yes, this was the models themselves were done by 3D Train Stuff. They have actually still got a website, 3D Train Stuff, where you can actually still buy these add-ons, which is brilliant that they're still available, so people can still get them for whatever reason, for nostalgia or whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's 257 Squadron. Manston isn't included with the base routes. Neither is some of the other locos. You can actually get a Swanage bonus pack with some like extra locos and rolling stock, which is pretty cool as well. There we go. Activity has ended. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Happy Christmas to everybody. Hope you've enjoyed this Christmas special of British Locomotive Studios. This sort of look around and nostalgic journey back in time to Microsoft Train Simulator, Swanage Railway. Thank you for watching. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more retro videos of Microsoft Train Simulator content, because, you know, it's something new, something different I thought I'd bring to the table. If you guys enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments. So thanks for watching. Merry Christmas to you all, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now. This has been Samuel Beeman of BLS.